Dragons defend humans from alien invaders, and the universe trembles. The sky above the Appalachian Mountains tore open like paper. Ships came down through the clouds, each one bigger than any building humans had ever made. They moved slow and steady, like they owned the whole world. Dr. Lisa Brennan sat in the International Space Station and watched it happen on her screens. She could not believe what she saw. The alien ships took places above cities like New York, Tokyo, and London. Lisa pressed buttons and sent pictures to every government on Earth. Her hands shook, but her voice stayed calm when she talked. The world's leaders got the news in their offices and bunkers. They called emergency meetings right away. News on television told people to stay inside. People got scared. Many of them ran to stores and bought food and water that the aliens sent a message to all humans. They spoke on every radio, every phone, every television at the same time. Their voices sounded like machines that could think and feel. They said humans had 6 hours to stop fighting and give up. If humans did not do this, the aliens would burn the cities. People in the streets heard this and prayed. Some people cried. Some people got angry. Commander Marcus Webb sat deep under the city of Brussels. He was the head of NATO forces, a big military group that protected many countries. Other military leaders sat with him in this safe place under the ground. They looked at maps and reports. Marcus made a hard choice. He told pilots to get ready. Soldiers got weapons. Ships went to the ocean. Everyone knew what they had to do. The military sent planes into the sky. Fighter jets from 17 countries flew toward the alien ships. They had the best weapons humans made. Bombs and missiles went up toward the sky. Marcus watched on screens as his planes flew faster and faster. Then something bad happened. The alien ships sent out light and heat. The human missiles fell from the sky before they hit anything. The planes turned around and came back home. Some of them did not come back at all. The aliens did not attack the cities yet. They were smart about it. They sent power that shut down lights and radios. They hit army bases and hurt soldiers. They showed humans that they could do anything they wanted. The message was simple and cold. You cannot win. But then something strange happened on the Oregon coast. A man named Daniel Santos had a fishing boat. He was out on the water when the sky got dark. Something big moved under his boat. The water started to move up and down. Daniel looked down and saw something impossible. A huge shape was coming up from the deep ocean. It was too big to be any animal he knew. The thing broke the surface, and water ran off its back. It was a dragon. Its body was longer than Daniel's boat was wide. Its skin had colors that seemed to move and change. The dragon looked up at the alien ship in the sky. It did not make any sound. It just looked. Daniel's grandmother told him stories about dragons when he was a boy. She said they were real, that they lived in the ocean and mountains. Daniel laughed at her when he was older. He said dragons were just stories, not real. Now he knew his grandmother was right. The dragon jumped into the air. Its wings were huge and strong. It flew up toward the alien ship faster than anything the big should be able to move. The two things hit each other in the sky. The sound was like the biggest crash ever made. The alien ship started to fall. Smoke and fire came from its body. It went up into the sky again and ran away, back to space. The dragon watched it go and then came back down. It went back into the ocean and was gone. Daniel fell on his knees on his boat. He shook and cried. He knew that something big had just changed. He knew that humans were not alone. There was something else on Earth, something old and strong. And it did not want the aliens to win. People heard about the dragon in minutes. News went on television and radio. Every country talked about it. Scientists wanted to know the truth. Soldiers wanted to know how to work with the dragon. Old people said it was a god. Young people said it was the coolest thing ever. Everyone agreed on one thing. There was a dragon, and it had hurt the alien ship. Dr. Lisa Brennan came back to Earth 2 days later. She wanted to know more. She got good people on her team, smart people who studied animals, smart people who understood languages, and soldiers who understood war. They looked at all the information about the dragon. What they found changed everything about what people thought was real. There were dragons all over the world. Scientists found signs of them in the mountains of the Himalayas. Fishing boats reported seeing big shapes in the water near Iceland. People in the Amazon said they heard strange sounds and saw huge shadows. The dragons were real. They had always been real. They had always been real. And they were waking up. In the mountains of Colorado, a woman named Rachel Morrison found a dragon that was hurt. It had a bad wound on its wing. Blood ran down its body. The dragon was young, not full grown, and it lay on the ground near her ranch. Most people would run away. Rachel did something different. She brought water and food to the dragon. She brought medicine from her truck. She cleaned the wound with careful hands. The dragon watched her, but did not hurt her. Rachel stayed there all night and the next day. She sat beside the creature and talked to it softly. She gave it more water when it needed it. She cleaned the wound again when the sun came up. On the third day, the dragon spoke. The voice came from inside the dragon's body, and somehow Rachel could understand it. The dragon said its name was Vexathis. It told Rachel something that shocked her. Dragons were not new to Earth. They had been here for thousands and thousands of years. They slept for long times because they wanted humans to grow up on their own. But they were always watching. They were always there if humans needed help. Now was the time to help. Vexathis told Rachel that dragons came to Earth a long time ago. An old civilization, one that lived in space, put dragons here as guards. That civilization was gone now, but the dragons stayed. They made a promise to watch over the people of Earth. When the aliens came, the dragons had to wake up and keep that promise. Rachel told the military leaders what Vexathis said. Commander Marcus Webb spoke to Vexathis through Rachel. They made a plan together. Humans and dragons would work as a team. Humans would give dragons information and help from the ground. Dragons would fight the alien ships in the sky. Together, they were strong. The plan worked fast. Alien ships that came down to attack were stopped by dragons. The aliens could not believe their weapons did not work on the dragons. The dragons were too fast, too smart, and too strong. The alien ships started to go back to deep space. Within 2 days, most of them were gone. The invasion was broken, but the aliens sent one final message before they left. They told all the other ships in space that Earth had dragons. They told them humans had powerful protectors. The news spread from star system to star system. Every alien civilization heard it. Earth was not weak. Earth was dangerous. Dragons defend humans from alien invaders, and the universe trembles. The news about the dragon spread across the world in hours. Every country heard about it. Every news station talked about it. Every person with a phone saw the pictures. Governments did not know what to do. The military wanted to understand it. Scientists wanted to study it. Religious leaders said it was a sign from above. But the most important thing happened. Next, dragons started to move everywhere. In the Himalayas, people who took care of sheep saw huge shadows in the sky. The shadows were too big to be birds. The shadows came from dragons that flew between the mountains. In Iceland, fishing boats reported waves so big they could only come from something massive moving through the water. The oceans had dragons swimming in them. In the Amazon rainforest, places where scientists studied animals felt earthquakes that made no sense. The earth was moving from something walking through the jungle. Dragons were everywhere, and they were waking up. Rachel Morrison became the person who talked to the dragons. She learned their language, or at least, she learned how to understand what they meant. Vexathis taught her that dragons could send their thoughts into the minds of humans who believed in them and wanted to listen. Rachel brought this ability to other humans too. Soon, there were people all over the world who could hear the dragons. Dr. Lisa Brennan built a team to study the dragons. She worked with Rachel to get information. What Lisa learned was shocking. The dragons had been on Earth for more than 5,000 years. They came from a civilization that died long ago, but left the dragons as gifts and as guardians. The dragons were old, very old. Some of them had been alive for more than 3,000 years. They had watched humans grow and change. They had seen kingdoms rise and fall. They had waited for the day when they would need to protect Earth again. Vexathis told Rachel that dragons had rules they had to follow. They could not start wars by themselves. They could not hurt humans unless humans hurt them first. But when something outside came to attack Earth, when something tried to take humans home and hurt them, then the dragons had the right to fight. The aliens had broken that rule when they invaded. So the dragons woke up and came out to fight. Commander Marcus Webb set up a real military partnership with the dragons. Human soldiers would work with dragons. The plan was simple. Humans on the ground would fight the aliens on the land. Dragons in the sky would fight them in the air. When humans needed help, dragons would come down and help them. When dragons needed information, humans would tell them where the aliens were. Rachel helped write new rules of war. She said that humans and dragons needed to talk to each other. They needed to trust each other. They needed to understand that they wanted the same thing, to keep Earth safe. This was not like other wars. This was about two different peoples, learning to fight as one group. The first test came 3 weeks after the dragons woke up. An alien ship came back to Earth. It was not the same group as before, but new aliens from a different part of space. They did not know what had happened to the first invasion. They thought they could take Earth and its people. They were very wrong. The ship landed in South America and sent soldiers down to the ground. The alien soldiers looked like big insects. They had many arms and hard skin that was like armor. They had guns that shot hot light. They looked strong and they looked ready to fight, but they did not know about the dragons. A dragon named Calith came down from the sky like a falling star. The alien soldiers saw it and ran, but there was nowhere to run. Calith was so big and so fast that the aliens could not escape. Dragon fire burned the aliens' weapons. Dragon claws were so sharp that the aliens' armor meant nothing. Calith killed all the aliens in minutes. The ship tried to take off and go back to space, but other dragons attacked it. The ship blew up in the air and fell to the ground in pieces. The aliens on the orbiting ship saw this happen and they got scared. They sent a message back to their home that Earth had dragons. They said their weapons did not work. They said they should not try to take Earth. They said Earth was too dangerous. The news went out into space again. More alien civilizations heard it. Each time the story was told, it changed a little bit. In some tellings, the dragons were as tall as mountains. In some tellings, they could not be hurt by any weapon. In some tellings, there were thousands of dragons. The truth did not matter. The important thing was that everyone in space now knew Earth had dragons and Earth was not easy to conquer, but more trouble was coming. The galaxy has many civilizations, and not all of them believed the stories about dragons. Some of them thought Earth might be weak. Some of them wanted to take Earth's resources. Some of them just wanted to see if the stories were true. Commander Marcus Webb and the dragon leaders met at a big table in the mountains of Switzerland. Humans sat on one side and dragons sat on the other, but it did not feel like two sides anymore. It felt like one team. Vexathis was very old, older than any dragon alive. He had fought in wars thousands of years ago. He had wisdom that humans did not have. Vexathis said that Earth needed to become strong enough that no one would try to take it. It needed to be so strong that other civilizations would want to be friends with it instead of enemies. The only way to do this was to show that humans and dragons could work together better than any other group of people could work together. Rachel Morrison suggested something big. She said that humans and dragons should live together, not just work together in war. She said there should be places where humans could live with dragons and learn from them. She said there should be schools where humans and dragons could go to school together and become friends, not just soldiers. The dragons agreed. This had never been done before in human history. But nothing about this situation was normal. The first dragon settlement was built in the Canadian mountains. Humans and dragons built homes and farms together. They grew food together. They made tools together. Young humans and young dragons played together like they had always been family. News of this spread across the world. Other countries wanted to do the same thing. In Australia, humans and dragons lived in the desert. In Norway, they lived in the mountains. In South Africa, they lived on the plains. For the first time in Earth's history, humans and the ancient dragons were building a real civilization together. But not everyone was happy about this. On the other side of the galaxy, the aliens who had tried to invade Earth were getting angry. They had lost. They wanted revenge. They were building new ships with new weapons. They were training new soldiers. And they were coming back to Earth. Marcus Webb knew this would happen. War was never really over. It just stopped for a while. Now the waiting time was ending. The real test was about to begin. Dragons defend humans from alien invaders, and the universe trembles. The aliens came back when snow was falling on Earth. It was winter in the north, and days were short and cold. The sun went down early and stayed down for a long time. This was when the new invasion fleet arrived. It was smaller than the first one, but every ship was more dangerous. The aliens had learned from their failures. They had built new weapons that were made to hurt dragons. Commander Marcus Webb knew the aliens were coming before they arrived. People on Earth watched the sky with big telescopes and computers. They saw the alien ships moving through space like a dark cloud coming to bring a storm. Marcus called a meeting with the dragon leaders. Vexathis came with other old dragons, warriors who had fought in battles thousands of years ago. The meeting was in a cave in the Rocky Mountains. Dragons could fit in this cave because it was huge. The ceiling was so high that even the biggest dragons could spread their wings. Marcus sat at a table with maps and information. The dragons looked at the maps with him. Marcus explained that the alien weapons were different now. They would be harder to fight, but Vexathis was not afraid. The old dragon had seen wars that lasted for years. He had fought enemies that seemed impossible to beat. He said that strength is not just power. Strength is also knowing how to fight smart. Strength is using your mind to win when your body might not be strong enough. Vexathis made a plan. Instead of flying up to fight the aliens in space, the dragons would let the aliens come down to Earth. The dragons would let the aliens think they could win. Then the dragons and humans would fight them on the ground, where dragons and humans knew every rock and every tree. In space, the aliens had all the power. On Earth, the power would be different. Marcus understood this plan. He was a soldier, and soldiers know that sometimes you have to let the enemy think they are winning so you can beat them later. He agreed to the plan. The aliens landed their soldiers in the snow of Canada. They set up a military base. They sent out groups of soldiers to attack towns and cities. But they found no helpless people. They found no cities that could not defend themselves. They found only humans and dragons waiting for them. A young captain named Joshua Hayes led a group of engineers. These men and women were not normal soldiers. They were builders. Joshua had them build things in the snow, Walls that hid people, holes in the ground where soldiers could hide, towers where people could see far away. Joshua made it so humans could fight smart and safe. The first big battle was near a place called Denver. A refugee camp was there, full of people who had left their homes because of the aliens. The camp had 500 people, old people, young people, children. An alien army came to attack it. 300 alien soldiers came with big machines that could shoot fire. The aliens knew that in other wars, the other side would run away when the army was this big, but the humans and dragons did not run. Joshua Hayes had 40 soldiers and 2 dragons. The 2 dragons were named Kelth and Sarn. They were not as old as Vexadus, but they had fought many times before. They were strong and fast and smart. When the aliens attacked, the dragons flew up into the air. The aliens shot their guns, but the bullets and fire could not hit the dragons because the dragons were too fast. Kelth and Sarn flew down at the alien soldiers. The soldiers tried to run, but dragons are faster than running. The dragons bit and clawed and fought with their tails. Joshua's soldiers shot from the hidden places. Each bullet hit the aliens because the aliens did not know where the bullets were coming from. The aliens got confused. They did not know where to run and where to hide. Some aliens turned and ran back to their base. Some aliens stood and fought, but they were killed. One alien soldier was bigger and stronger than all the others. His name was Garth, and he was a general. He had armor that was very hard. Joshua's guns could not hurt him. But Sarn the dragon came down and grabbed Garth with his claws. The general tried to fight the dragon, but fighting a dragon is impossible. Garth fell and did not get up again. The alien army ran away from Denver. They lost more than half their soldiers. The humans and dragons had won the battle. But in the sky, something bad happened. An alien ship came down and shot at Kelth the dragon. The new weapons that the aliens made were working. Kelth's wing got hurt very bad. He fell from the sky and hit the ground hard. He was bleeding and could not move well. Joshua did something brave. He ran out from his safe hiding place and ran to Kelth. Alien guns were still shooting, but Joshua did not stop. He reached Kelth and looked at the wound. It was big and very bad. Joshua used cloth from his clothes to stop the blood. Other soldiers ran out and helped him. They carried Kelth to a safe place. Doctors came to help. They had medicine that humans used, not medicine for dragons. But Kelth was not so different from other animals. The doctors cleaned the wound and used medicine to help it not get sick. Kelth's breathing got better. He was going to live. When Kelth woke up hours later, he saw Joshua sitting next to him. Joshua had not slept. He had stayed there to make sure Kelth was okay. The dragon understood something in that moment. These humans were not just soldiers who worked with dragons. These humans loved the dragons and cared about them like family. Kelth told Joshua something. He said that humans are the bravest creatures he had ever seen. Dragons are big and strong, Kelth said, but humans are so small. Humans can be hurt so easy, but humans do not care if they are small. Humans do not care if they can be hurt. Humans stand up and fight anyway. Humans fight to protect other people, even if they might die. That is the biggest kind of bravery. Joshua cried when Kelth said this. He understood that the bond between humans and dragons was something real and deep. The battles kept happening in many places. In Australia, humans and dragons fought in the hot desert. In Africa, they fought in jungles where plants grew thick and tall. In Europe, they fought in cities where buildings were tall and close together. Every battle was different, but the result was the same. Humans and dragons beat the aliens. The aliens tried harder and harder. They sent more soldiers. They sent better weapons. But they did not understand something important. They thought war was just about having better equipment and more firepower. They did not know that war is also about why you are fighting. Humans and dragons fought to protect their home and their families. The aliens fought because their government told them to fight. Humans and dragons wanted to win. The aliens just wanted to follow orders. When you fight with your whole heart and soul, you are stronger than someone who is just following orders. After 3 months of fighting, the aliens started to leave. Their ships went back into space. The invasion was broken again. But this time, it was broken for good. The aliens understood now that Earth could not be conquered. Earth had humans and dragons, and that was enough. The war was over, but the price was high. Some dragons had been killed. Some humans had been killed. There were sad ceremonies where both humans and dragons cried together for the ones who died. But there was also hope. The world had changed. Humans and dragons were not going back to being separate. They had fought together and bled together and won together. Now they would build a new world together. Dragons defend humans from alien invaders, and the universe trembles news about the second defeat spread through the galaxy like fire. Every alien civilization heard about it. They heard that humans and dragons had won against an invasion army twice. They heard that small humans had fought aliens with bravery that made even dragons respect them. The story grew bigger with each telling. On an old station that floated between the stars, the Galactic Council met. This was a group of leaders from many different civilizations. They had been ruling space for millions of years. They made laws that all the aliens had to follow. When they heard about what happened on Earth, they were shocked. The aliens who had tried to invade Earth, the Zixtharians, wanted the Galactic Council to punish Earth and the dragons. They said it was not fair that a young race could defeat them. They wanted to send a bigger army and destroy Earth completely. They said that if Earth was allowed to live, other young races would get brave ideas too. But other members of the Galactic Council said something different. They said that if a young race with dragons could defeat an invasion army, maybe that race should be treated with respect. Maybe that race should be given a place in the Galactic Council. Maybe other races should be afraid of Earth, not the other way around. The Zixtharians left the meeting angry. They swore that they would get revenge. They said they would come back and make humans and dragons pay for what they had done. No one knew it, but they were already building new ships. They were already training new soldiers. They were already getting ready for a third invasion. On Earth, things were changing very fast. Commander Marcus Webb became a diplomat. Instead of leading soldiers in war, he now talked to aliens from other civilizations. He went to the Galactic Council and spoke to them. He told them that Earth wanted peace. He said that Earth and its dragons just wanted to be left alone to grow and build. The Galactic Council voted to make Earth a member of the galactic community. This meant that if any civilization attacked Earth, it would be like attacking every member of the Galactic Council. This meant that Earth had protection now. This meant that Earth was no longer a small, weak world. Earth was a player in the big games of space. Rachel Morrison worked on something else. She wanted to build something that would make the human-dragon friendship even stronger. She built schools where humans and young dragons could study together. The schools taught science, history, languages, and how to work together. Humans learned about dragon culture and history. Dragons learned about human dreams and inventions. They became friends, real friends, not just partners in war. Joshua Hayes built a military academy, but his academy was different from normal military schools. In Joshua's school, human soldiers learned to fight alongside dragons. Dragons learned to understand how humans thought and fought. They learned each other's languages and signals. They learned to trust each other completely. In the first class of Joshua's academy, there was a human named David Patterson and a young dragon named Tynish. David was small and dark-haired. Tynish was young and had not fully grown yet. But in their first exercise together, They had to work as a team to solve a hard problem. The problem was a military one: how to defend a valley against an enemy that was much bigger and stronger. David and Tynish worked all night. They talked and argued and thought together. By morning, they had a plan. It was not a simple plan. It used the land in a smart way. It used David's small size and Tynesh's big strength. It used human ideas about logic and dragon knowledge about flying and seeing things from far away. Their plan was so good that the teacher said it was perfect. After that day, David and Tynish did everything together. They studied together. They trained together. They ate together. They became more than teammates. They became best friends. For the first time in history, a human and a dragon grew up together and became like brothers. This was happening in schools and academies all over the world. Young humans and young dragons were becoming friends. They were learning together. They were creating something new, a civilization, where two different species could live as equals. Dr. Lisa Brennan was working on something different. She was studying the dragons' genetics, their bodies, and how they worked. She wanted to understand why dragons could be so smart. She wanted to know why dragons could live for thousands of years. She wanted to learn the secrets of dragon science. Vexathis gave her permission to study him. The old dragon sat in a special room and let Lisa take samples of his blood and skin. He let her use machines to look inside his body. He answered her questions about how dragons thought and how they felt. Lisa learned things that no human scientist had ever known. One day, Lisa asked Vexathis a personal question. She asked him why he cared about humans. She asked him if it was just duty or if he really liked humans. Vexathis closed his old eyes and thought for a long time. Then he told her a story. A long time ago, Vexathis said, there was a small human child. The child got lost in a forest near where Vexathis lived. The dragon could have ignored the child. The dragon could have let the child die. But Vexathis brought the child food. He lay beside the child at night to keep it warm. He stayed with the child until the child's parents found him. The parents were scared of Vexathis at first, but they understood that the dragon had saved their child. They said thank you. The child grew up and told the story to his children. His children told the story to their children. Over hundreds of years, that story became a legend. But Vexathis never forgot the truth of it. He never forgot the face of that child or the love of those parents. Lisa understood then. Vexathis did not protect humans because of duty or because an old civilization told him to. Vexathis protected humans because he loved them. He loved humans like a grandfather loves grandchildren. But peace could not last forever. The Zixtharians were building their new invasion force. They had learned from the old invasions. They made weapons that could hurt dragons. They made ships that were faster and stronger. They trained soldiers that knew how to fight with humans and dragons. A spy, a human from Earth who had been captured by the Zixtharians years ago, sent a message back to Earth. He told them that a new invasion was coming. He told them that this time, the aliens had really prepared. He told them that the Zixtharians hated humans and dragons more than anything in the galaxy. This invasion would not be like the others. This invasion would be to the death. Commander Marcus Webb called a council. Humans and dragons sat together. The dragons asked what humans wanted to do. Some humans said they should hide. Some humans said they should run to other planets. But Marcus stood up and said something different. Marcus said that humans and dragons had built something real on Earth. They had built a civilization where two species could live as equals. They had built families where humans and dragons loved each other. They had built a future where anything was possible. He said that they should not run. He said they should fight to protect what they had built. Vexathis stood up and put his head next to Marcus's head. The old dragons said that this would be the hardest fight of all. Many would die on both sides. But if they won, the universe would know that Earth had dragons. The universe would know that humans and dragons could not be beaten. The universe would know that love and friendship were stronger than weapons and hate. Every person and every dragon in that room said they would fight. They said they would protect Earth and their families. They said they would never surrender. The third invasion was coming, and this time, the whole world would be ready. Dragons defend humans from alien invaders, and the universe trembles. The third invasion was different from all the others. It was not just about winning a war. It was about showing the entire galaxy what humans and dragons could do together when they fought for something they loved, the Zix. Therian fleet came down through the clouds on a day when rain was falling heavy and hard. The sky was gray and dark. The aliens landed in many places at once, in North America, in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa. They came in huge numbers, more soldiers than had ever come before. They brought weapons that had been designed to hurt dragons specifically. They brought armor that was thicker and harder. They were ready for war, but Earth was ready too. Young David Patterson and his dragon brother Tynish were in the first battle. They were trained at Joshua's academy, and they fought like one person in two bodies. When David saw aliens coming, he called to Tynish. The dragon came down from the sky like lightning. Tynish grabbed 3 aliens at one time and threw them against the ground. David shot at the aliens that were running away. They worked together so well that it looked like they could read each other's minds in the Rocky Mountains. Joshua Hayes led thousands of soldiers and dozens of dragons. The battle there was the biggest and the hardest. Alien soldiers filled the valleys like ants. Dragons came down from the sky and fought them. Humans shot guns from safe places. The ground shook from the weight of dragons landing and fighting. The sky was full of fire and smoke. Joshua saw that the aliens had a weapon that was hurting the dragons. It was a gun that shot something hot and fast. The dragon's skin could usually stop bullets, but this weapon was different. It burned through their scales. Joshua knew that the dragons could not win if the aliens kept using this weapon. So Joshua made a choice. He called to all the human soldiers and told them to focus on the aliens with the special weapons. He told them to shoot at those aliens first, before the dragons got close. The human soldiers understood what Joshua was asking. He was asking them to be brave. He was asking them to shoot at the most dangerous aliens so the dragons would not get hurt. That is what humans did. They ran toward the aliens that had the most dangerous weapons. They were scared, but they ran anyway. They shot and fought and died, but they got the weapons away from the aliens. By the time the dragons got close, the special weapons were gone. The dragons could fight without fear now. Kelth the dragon, who had been hurt in the last war, came back to fight again. His wing was still not perfect, but he flew anyway. He fought harder than any other dragon because he remembered that Joshua's soldiers had saved his life. He remembered David running out in the gunfire to help him. Kelth was not fighting for a government or because someone told him to. He was fighting because humans had saved him and he loved them. In Europe, the battle was different. The aliens had learned that open ground was bad for them because dragons could see them and shoot them from far away. So the aliens fought in cities where buildings were tall and close together. But humans who lived in these cities knew every street and every building. They knew how to fight in cities better than aliens who had just arrived. A woman named Catherine Smith led the defense of London. She was not a soldier. She was a teacher before the war. But she learned how to fight, and now she was leading hundreds of people. Catherine worked with 2 dragons named Corvin and Shen. Together, they made the aliens' lives very hard. Catherine would hide in buildings and tell Corvin and Shen where the aliens were. The dragons would attack the aliens in their hiding places. The aliens did not know how to fight against this kind of fighting. In Asia, an old dragon named Vexathis was fighting his last battle. The great old dragon was tired and his body hurt, but he fought like he had thousands of years ago. He remembered fighting aliens in times so long ago that no human had been born yet. He remembered winning battles when he was younger. Now he was old, but he was not weak. Vexathis killed more aliens than any other dragon in the war. A young alien officer named Krath wanted to prove himself. He wanted to kill Vexathis because Vexathis was the leader of the dragons. Krath was young and strong, and he had the new weapons. But Vexathis had thousands of years of fighting experience. The two fighters met in a destroyed city. They fought for a long time. Fire and smoke was everywhere. Buildings fell down around them. In the end, Vexathis won. But he was hurt very bad. When the fighting was done, Vexathis fell to the ground and could not get up. Humans ran to him and tried to help, but the old dragon told them to leave him. He said his time was ending. He said he was happy because he had seen humans and dragons become one family. Vexathis died as the sun went down that day. But before he died, he told humans and dragons that they should remember one thing. Strength comes not from weapons or from how big you are. Strength comes from standing with others and never giving up. When you fight for what you love, you become stronger than you ever thought possible. The aliens heard that Vexathis had died and they panicked. Vexathis was famous. Vexathis was old and powerful. If Vexathis could be beaten, maybe all dragons could be beaten. But they were wrong. The death of Vexathis made humans and dragons fight even harder. They fought for him. They fought for all the dragons and humans who had died. They fought to prove that what Vexathis taught them was true. Together they were unbeatable. After 3 weeks of fighting, the Zixtarians gave up. They packed their ships and left Earth. They flew back into space with their tails between their legs. They had lost too many soldiers. Too many ships had been destroyed. They understood now that they could never take Earth. The aliens were gone, but something very different happened this time. The aliens who left sent a message to the entire galaxy. They told every civilization in space what had happened. They said that Earth had won the war. They said that humans and dragons had worked together and defeated an invasion. They said that humans were more brave and strong than anyone thought. They said that dragons were more wise and powerful than anyone. Remember, the message spread through space faster than the ships could fly. Every civilization in every star system heard it. They heard about David and Tynish fighting as one. They heard about Joshua Hayes leading thousands of soldiers. They heard about Catherine Smith defending her city. They heard about Vexathis dying with honor. They heard about humans running into fire to protect dragons. They heard about dragons fighting to save human children. The universe changed because of what happened on Earth. The Galactic Council asked humans and dragons to send representatives to space. They asked Earth to join the Council as a full member, not just a protected species. They gave Earth seats at the table where the biggest decisions were made. Young David Patterson was sent as Earth's military representative. He brought Tynish with him. The Council was shocked to see a human and a dragon sitting together as partners. They understood that something new had been born. Scientists across the galaxy wanted to study Earth. They wanted to understand how humans and dragons had learned to work together so well. They wanted to learn about human courage and dragon wisdom. Earth became famous for being the place where two species loved each other and made something beautiful together. Rachel Morrison built schools not just on Earth, but on other planets too. She taught young people and young dragons from different civilizations how to work together. She told them the stories of the wars on Earth. She taught them that you do not have to be the same to love each other and work together. Joshua Hayes wrote books about military science. He explained how humans and dragons had defeated aliens with better weapons. He said that love and friendship were stronger than anything else. He said that humans had saved dragons, and dragons had saved humans. He said that was the real victory. Years later, on a mountain in Colorado, where the first dragon-human settlement had been built, Rachel Morrison stood with her grandchild. The child pointed at a huge monument made of stone. On the monument were the names of all the dragons and humans who had died in the wars. Rachel told her grandchild stories about Vexathis and Joshua and David and Tynish and Kelth, and all the others who had fought. The child asked why the dragons had helped humans. Rachel thought about the answer. She said that love does not need a reason. She said that when you see someone in trouble, you help them. She said that the dragons had helped because they loved Earth and the people on it. And the humans had helped the dragons because they loved them back. That night, a dragon came to the monument. It was Tynish, who was now old like all the early dragons. The dragon looked at the names carved in stone. Tynish touched the stone with his claw and remembered all the friends who had died. David Patterson had died 5 years ago, old and happy, and Tynish had mourned him like a brother. The universe knew now that Earth had dragons. The universe knew that humans and dragons could not be beaten when they stood together. The universe knew that love and friendship were real powers that could change the whole galaxy. And all of this happened because a fisherman named Daniel Santis found a hurt dragon, and he decided to help instead of run away. One small act of kindness had changed everything for everyone.